Well, this is my check-in for The Artist's Way, week 2, which I definitely didn't do the best job of completing week 2, if I'm honest. As far as the check-in's concerned, I ended up doing the morning pages, I think 4 days out of the 7. And I went on my artist date. I went to the variety store because I couldn't figure out what to do. And it was cool though. I ended up getting these like emoji stickers. I went to Daiso, and these little like anime erasers. And it was kind of cool because I think it is actually the kind of thing that I would have really enjoyed doing when I was a kid. As I grew up in the country and I was obsessed with Japanese culture as a child, and we didn't really have anything like that out there. So if I'd gone to the city, I would have gone to Daiso and probably wanted to buy everything with like anime characters and whatever on it. But the morning pages I really struggled with. The book says that you're supposed to spend on budget an hour per day to do them, but including the morning pages and the exercises. But I feel like my morning pages consistently take me like 45 minutes to an hour just to do those alone. And I'm not really sure why. But I keep like trailing off in thought. Getting lost in my head and then coming back to reality and continuing to write. I haven't really gotten to the point where I'm able to just write and not be interrupted by that. I did find the part in the book. I went back and read through some of it, and because I was struggling to figure out what exactly it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And it says on page 4, don't be daunted by the amount of work it seems to entail. Much of the work is really play, and the course takes little more than an hour a day. Then it says the exercises in each week are critical, so are the morning pages and the artist date. You probably won't have time to complete all of the tasks in any given week. Try to do about half. Know that the rest are there for your use whenever you're able to get back to them. Just remember, in choosing what we often resist is what we most need. So I ended up doing about half. I did exercise 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 out of 10. And I would say like the biggest improvement this week actually was starting a schedule. I know it might seem like a basic thing, but I hadn't really had one for a while. I've experimented with all kinds of things, like keeping a journal, writing a schedule up on a whiteboard, like a weekly schedule. And this time I actually made myself an iCalendar thing, so it looks like this on my phone, and I found that's actually a lot easier to keep. You can color code it, you can move things around very easily, you can extend things or shorten them or whatever else. And a part of the exercises was trying to figure out how much time you're spending on each activity. And definitely when it comes down to trying to do any creative work, I might budget 3 hours and then I only get an hour done and then get distracted by something. And it's usually YouTube or, errands that end up getting in the way. The affirmations are working pretty well. I enjoy doing them. And then there was like listing 10 tiny changes that you'd want to make for yourself, and then you're supposed to add them into the schedule. So I've got one of those it's on the way, gonna happen. I've scheduled the time. And then there's another exercise where you list 20 things that you enjoy doing, and then you schedule 2 of those. And so I have actually done that. I've scheduled 2 of those coming into the next week that I'm going to be doing. So all in all, I managed to do a reasonable amount. I didn't do the morning pages every day. My goal for next week is definitely to do the morning pages every day. I would really like to be able to do that, and to continue to do as much of the work as possible. Week 2 is the chapter is called Recovering a Sense of Identity, and I have to say the actual reading part of that chapter I didn't really connect with that much. It talks a lot about, there's something called poisonous playmates, and it talks a lot, and crazy makers, it talks a lot about the people that you have around you and what they do to you, and how they affect your frame of mind, your life, your activities, all of that kind of thing. And a lot of the stuff seems to be like, I can see that for some people, having the wrong people in your environment might make things more difficult for you. But I just didn't find that I have a lot of people like that in my life. There's definitely some people that I can think of in the past who have been like that. But for my life currently, as it is, I don't really experience a lot of that sort of stuff very often. And I also don't really like to think about other people in that way. I think in our society at the moment, there's a lot of talk about people who are toxic and removing toxic people from your environment. It seems kind of problematic to me that you could discard people based off of their current behavior without any retribution. I don't really like that idea, although I've definitely ended some friendships in the past and, that kind of thing. I don't know that labeling people as a crazy maker, or what else does she say, a poisonous playmate, is like a very healthy activity. Certainly keeping people at an arm's length, a bit of distance, maybe not interacting with them for the time being is a good idea. But yeah, I don't know if I really connected with the reading this week. The reading for week 3, which I've already done, actually I connected with a lot more, and I would say the week 3 reading is a lot more, it is something that I actually probably needed to read, and I think would be a lot more useful for me. Week 2 in and of itself, I think, was fine. I managed to start the schedule. I didn't really do a lot of the work as I was supposed to, but I got enough of the activities done to say yes. I think I've done enough to move on to the 3rd week. But I think potentially some weeks I'm just going to connect with a lot better. Other weeks, not so much. I ended up uploading the week 1 video already, which was kind of daunting. I'm not really familiar with uploading YouTube content, and I apologize if the audio or video is bad quality. But yeah, I thought I would just upload them in case someone got something from them. Maybe, it might help someone else who's thinking about doing the program or struggling with the program. But anyway, that's how I felt about week 2.